Hey everyone, I'm Lara.
I'm Spencer, and we're Married with Board Games. Imagine that you're out in a zen garden, peacefully exploring how to add more relaxing elements to it, when someone comes along and slaps your face.
Now that's kind of an exaggeration of what's happening in Samurai Gardener, a 2 to 5 player abstract strategy game from Osprey Games. Yes, there is some slapping, but slapping your opponent's face is frowned upon.
It is, thank you. Instead, you'll be trying to slap the cards on the table first that have desirable elements to add to the garden you're making.
Maybe you better clarify how to play a little bit better so we don't get sued.
Good thinking. Let's head over to the table and I'll show you how to play. Alright, here's everything that comes with Samurai Gardener. Of course, you got your rule book. Here's the scorecard. This is where you're going to be keeping track of your points, so you'll move your cube around whenever you get points, that kind of thing. 25 means that once someone gets 25 points, that signals the end of the game. Each player will have a set of 4 cards like this, and that corresponds with the different sections of your garden you're going to be scoring. When you score different areas of your garden, say for example the pond, you flip that card over and you can't score that area again until you score the other areas first. It'll make a little bit more sense once I show you how to play. Finally, there are these handy reference cards that show you how to score, and then on the back there show you how the ways to get bonus points. Each round of Samurai Gardener is broken up into 2 phases. The first phase is called seizing. You'll deal out 1 card per player. First of all, everybody has to put their hands in their laps. And then the first player is going to say A, and then everybody all together will say O. And when they do, you reach as fast as you can, grab the card that you want, and almost sometimes it amounts to slapping, grabbing the card that you want. And you'll see here in a second which card you might want based on how you get points. But that's called the seizing round. Again, first player will say A, and everybody at the same time will go O, and then grab the card that they want. Whoever touches the card first, whoever's on bottom, whoever's covering more of the card will get that card. And if you don't get the card you want, you'll have to quickly move over to the card to your second choice, and then finally you might have to go with your absolute last choice and make it work. Once everybody has seized a card, you now move on to what's called the gardening phase. You'll start laying your cards down and building a garden. All cards must be laid vertically. They can be rotated either way you want to, but they have to be vertical. What you're trying to do is make rows of like types of tiles, and you need at least 3 in a row to score points. So if I were to gain this card, one thing I might do is place it right here. And now I can score 1 point for 3 in a row. Once I score the pond, again I flip this over, and I can't score pond tiles again until I've scored garden, path, and tatami. On a later turn, you can build onto a row you've already scored. For example, if I were to place this card down, now that's 4 in a row, and I would get 2 points for that. However, you can put too many in a row. So if you have 6 or more in a row, you will get 0 points. You can lay cards on top of other cards. The only restriction is you can't lay a card on top of a row of 3 or more. So for example, I couldn't put this here on top of that row of 4 pond tiles. It is possible to score multiple types. It is possible to score multiple types of those tiles in a turn. For example, if you score 2 types, so say I scored garden and pond in my turn, I would gain 2 extra bonus points in addition to the points I gained from each of those rows. 3 types of a row will give you 4 bonus points, and if you happen to get all 4 types of a row, you get 6 bonus points. The game ends if one player's score is above 25, or if there aren't enough cards left in the deck to begin a new round. And at that point, whoever has the highest score at the end of that round is the winner.
Okay, I mean, pretty compact game there.
Yeah, not a lot going on.
Not much component-wise. So now that you've had a look at that, let's discuss.
Let's dive in.
Starting with the artwork on this game. Very vibrant artwork. Not necessarily the style of artwork I would have been expecting. What about you?
I don't know really what I was expecting, but I like it. It's pretty.
I don't know that I would have expected like this color scheme or
Okay.
anything, but at the same time, I appreciate it because it helps me with differentiating those different styles.
The 4 different types of
Being
tiles.
able to tell like the path apart from the garden and from all the others.
They're all very distinct.
Yes, it's easy, and you can do it at a glance in case it's very fast with the A. You have to be ready to go.
Right.
And so I appreciate it. Not what I was expecting, but I understand why they did it. I think, or I may be totally off base with why they did it, but that's my impression.
I think that it's calming. It calms me to look at this art, especially when you see the little cat asleep on some of those tiles.
Dog
and then the fish just slowly swimming through the ponds. It calms.
The fish aren't moving.
Well, but they look like they are, and they look like they're moving very slowly. But I do enjoy that, and it has a nice peaceful aspect for me, and I really enjoy that.
Right. So after looking at that aspect, let's go to the next level of that. And so
components.
The components. I mean, it's just cards.
Cards. Well, I do like the large cubes instead of using the little cubes.
Right, for the player,
for the
score
points,
track.
Yeah,
that does help. Especially because I mean, this game goes up to how many players?
5.
5 around a table. Trying to look over at that score track, if you're just tiny little cubes, it'd be kind of hard to keep up with. So that's nice, and yet it's still compact. The score track.
Yeah, well, and so you talk about scoring. I feel like what I really appreciate too is, in addition to the components, I do like those scoring cards, those player aid score cards. They're really nice that really clearly spell out, okay, here's how many points you get if you score this many in a row, or this many, or this many. And then, so that's clear. And on the back, with the bonuses, if you score 2 types in the same round, you get this many points, 3. So instead of referring back to the rule book, how many points do I get in this case? It's all right there, and there's 1 for each player. So really appreciate that, because it could get confusing, because it's not directly 3 points, or 3 tiles means 3 points.
This may just be picky of me. But, I mean, that's what I'm here to do, is give my opinion. I don't see why they couldn't have made a big enough card that all of that stuff could be on one side instead of having to flip it back and forth. Sorry if that's petty, and I know it's very easy to do, but, I mean, it could all go on one side if you need to do a bigger card, or if you need to do it in portrait instead of landscape.
It adds more dexterity to the game when you're flipping that card over, back and forth. So,
do you want to get slapped again?
I don't.
Okay.
Let's talk about the 2 main parts of the game. So, there's the slap.
You're slapping.
So, technically, it's not slapping. You're reaching, right?
Yeah.
So, you're reaching quickly, which basically amounts to slapping when everybody's going at it.
Which could be another person's hand.
Yeah. So, don't wear heavy rings when you're doing this.
Yeah, we went into that.
So, it's not slapping, but it's very quick reaching, which can turn into slapping.
Yeah,
and then there's
be careful with your acrylic nails, okay? Ouch.
And then there's the shouting, where you go A, oh, and people can really get into that. I don't know, for me, if that's appropriate for a 2-player game, because I don't know. What do you think? I think it works better.
There were so many times that we were going for the other card for each other, so it didn't even matter.
It works better with the larger group. I will say that. I think it fits more in the game. I didn't enjoy it as much in a 2-player as I did in a larger group. So there's that aspect of the game, the getting the card, and then there's the gardening.
Whew, that can be tough.
It can be.
Sometimes you go for a card so fast you don't even realize where you're going to put it.
Exactly.
So then you get that card and you're like going,
I've got to make points out of this.
I gotta put this somewhere and got to do it now.
But I
can't cover up. Where is this a throw of 3 or more?
Yep,
Man,
can't do that.
Can't put it there.
But I really like this aspect of the game. It's a nice puzzle to solve. Of you want to get as many tiles lined up as you can. Well, not more than 6 or more.
I like that.
Yeah, that is true.
I like that they put that cap on there because it makes it harder.
It does. Because you could just keep going and going and going.
That would be very easy for someone to just run away with the game if you could do that. I also like that you have to, with the flipping the cards over, so you can only score that one category many times.
You have to be real strategic about when you do that, because if you do it too soon, you're cutting yourself off.
Yeah, then you won't get those combos.
Exactly. So if you wait and set yourself up, which is what I like, is setting myself up to be able to make those combos.
But if you wait too long to set yourself up, the other player has run off with
Right.
the game.
Right. Because you're sitting there waiting for the right card and it
And they're
never
scoring.
comes and they're scoring. Yeah. So there's a nice balance there that you have to figure out of what's the best plan of action in each situation.
Yeah, that's really neat.
And so that puzzle of maximizing your points of not only the number of tiles in your rows, but the number of the different types of them as well.
Right. Well, and laying them out right that even you can score on every round, because sometimes the way you lay them down, there are going to be places where a certain kind of row is cut off, and then when you get that card, there might be times that you don't get to score on a round, and then you're going, oh well, now I'm done.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see the different dynamics in this game.
Exactly.
I really enjoy that.
And so it's really short. It's a 20-minute game in which we found that's about right.
Oh, yeah.
If not shorter,
Yeah.
at least in a two-player game. And I think that you had a comment about the time to play. Did you think that it was perfect, or do you think it was too short or too long?
I don't know that it's the time. I think it's the score. I wish that
the score go higher.
5 more points.
Yeah.
Can we just go up to 30?
Okay.
That's just my thing.
Right.
But I mean, even with that, Samurai Gardener is a solid filler game with that speed, dexterity element, but also a neat puzzle to figure out. There's a neat puzzle to uncover here in Samurai Gardener, from taking the right cards to figuring out where best to place them and when to place them. There really is a lot to explore in this little game.
However, for me, the shouting and quick reaching feels a little out of place. I feel like I could do without it.
But for those who enjoy that sort of thing and are also interested in puzzly style games, Samurai Gardener might be a good choice for you. And it's certainly not bad to look at either.
For all the reasons stated above, we give Samurai Gardener a rating of 7 and a seal of approval.
Thanks so much for watching. If you want to watch a video of me slapping Spencer on a loop, be sure to follow us on Instagram at MarriedWithBG.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.